Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Unicorns and Typewriters. My name is Skylar and I'm back today with another exciting video. So in today's video, I wanted to talk a bit more about why I applied to become an EPIK teacher. I told you all recently that I passed the first couple stages of becoming an EPIK teacher and I have sent in all my documents. So at this point while I'm filming, I'm still waiting to hear back if I have a placement. But because I am in the middle of moving and also because I have a lot of things going on in my life right now, I wanted to try to film some of these videos ahead so that I have them just in case it takes me a little bit longer to get my bookshelf set up again than anticipated. Although I'm hoping for the best and hoping I will be back up and running as soon as possible. Regardless, whether I get a placement or not, I wanted to definitely post some videos about the process of applying to help some other people out, although I really am hoping I'm going to get a placement. And so I thought I would also tell you all a bit about myself and why I applied to the program. I am from the United States of America. I grew up on the Northeast coast. So from the time I was born until 18, I lived in the same state with my family. When I was in high school, I was heavily involved in chorus. And so I was in chorale, which in my high school was a level of course that you had to try out to be in. It was kind of the top tier. You had to get in through auditions. And so I was invited to go with American Music Abroad on a European tour to sing at different venues across Europe over the course of 3 weeks. I was very privileged that I was able to do this trip. And I got to visit Switzerland, Austria, France, Italy, and Germany. And it was an amazing trip. It was just the most amazing 3 weeks. I think it really sparked my interest in international travel. So fast forward to undergraduate college, I knew I wanted to see not just more of the world, but more of the United States as well. So I immediately wanted to go to college outside of my home state, and I did. I transferred schools a couple times, which is a little unusual, I am well aware of, but I switched majors a few times. I transferred a bit. I went to one that was in the Lancaster area in Pennsylvania, and I spent 2 years there. Then I spent a year at an undergraduate college in Baltimore, and I also spent a year and a half at my graduating school in upstate New York. And I also spent a little tiny bit of time living in Wisconsin, but that's a very long story that is for another day. I traveled around in the States quite a bit. I got to do some other travels as well during vacations and breaks and such. And I really just more and more knew that I love to travel. So at my second undergraduate school, when I was living in Baltimore, I almost took part in a study abroad summer trip. It was for one of my art classes, so it was for a painting class, I believe. And I was going to go and do the painting class in England because at that point it was really my dream to get to study abroad in England. And I ended up deciding to transfer schools, and so I ended up not going, which was a really big disappointment to me. And even as I continued on at my next school, because I was a transfer student, it was incredibly hard for me to take the time to do study abroad. A lot of people I knew had studied abroad earlier in college, and I was really disappointed that I missed out on the opportunity. So when I graduated college, it was my dream to go on a trip to England. However, it didn't work out. I ended up spending 2 years working and just kind of trying to figure out my next step in life. And I was really disappointed that I never got to travel and study abroad during undergraduate college. So I started looking into master's degree programs during the 2 years that I was working, and I was really unsure about the MA, but I started finding some that were based in England or abroad, and I started looking into them, and I found a program that I really liked, and that was the Master's for Writing for Young People at Bath Spa University, and that is in Bath, England, and their program just sounded amazing. Spoiler, it was a really amazing program. And so I applied there and I got in and I couldn't say no at that point. How can you pass up such a huge opportunity? So I moved to England and I studied for my master's degree there and lived in England for a year and had an amazing time. Since I have the experience of living abroad, I can say that living, studying abroad, and I'm sure it will apply to working abroad, is not all just like a bag of sunshine and butterflies. it definitely can get really stressful living away from your family and friends in a strange place. Culture shock can be hard. And I was having an amazing time, but at the same time, because of the stress of not just living abroad, but also the fact that I was taking a very intensive 1-year master's degree program, when I finished the program and came back to the States, I definitely kind of felt like I wanted to be in the States. I felt like I was ready to be home for a bit. But I knew also in the back of my head that I absolutely love travel, especially now that I have some distance due to the pandemic. When I was living abroad, traveling abroad, I really felt so alive and so myself, learning new things constantly, being exposed to new culture constantly. It's just, there was nothing comparable like that to me. And that's something I've learned over the last 2 years. I truly believe that if the pandemic had not happened, I would have only been in the States for like 6 months, and I would have found another way to live abroad or travel, at least go travel abroad some more. And even right after I got back from graduation in England, I was thinking about programs like EPIK. I was thinking about all the different programs to be an English teacher. I had looked into them in the past. I had looked into the EPIK program. I had looked into the JET program. I think I had looked into all of these before I even did the master's degree. It was something I had also considered after undergraduate because I knew some people who applied to do it right out of undergraduate. It's definitely something that's been rolling around in my mind for a very long time, and living abroad for a year solidified for me that it's something that I absolutely love doing. I love being around other cultures. I love feeling like I'm learning something new every day. And I feel like living abroad really solidified for me the big difference between living abroad and just visiting places through travel and vacation. If you go to visit a place just for a week, you might have kind of an idealized experience, but you might also miss things. So I do feel like sometimes I'm envious of people who have only visited England because they only saw the positives. They didn't have to deal with the hardships that come along with actually living in a place and having to actually adjust to being in another culture. And I think I did it well. I think I did it gracefully. I think, it can be hard, and I recognize that and I know that, and that's why I also know I can do it again. I also, though, don't feel envious of people who have only visited because I got to see so much more of England. I got to experience it so much more genuinely than if I had only visited. I feel like the best experience you can possibly get when it comes to really getting to experience another culture is to live there for a long period of time, longer than 2 weeks, 3 weeks, which is like the tops people usually will go lengthwise for vacations. Most people go less than that. A lot of people will go somewhere for like 4 days. That's definitely not enough to get a sense of a culture and a real genuine feel for the place that you're visiting. Like I said, I do feel like if the pandemic hadn't happened, this would have been my thought literally months after arriving back. But unfortunately, a couple months after arriving back, the world went into lockdown and I ended up working really difficult jobs for the past 2 years. And I do feel like these jobs tested and trained me in really crucial skills such as patience and perseverance, because I was put in some really, really difficult situations working full-time jobs throughout the pandemic. I didn't work any jobs that got to go remote or any jobs that closed down. And I know that that would have come along with financial strain too. So I am not necessarily envious of people who did get their jobs shut down, but I also felt pretty terrible as like a creative person watching everyone who was home getting to write their novels and do their art projects. And I was still out working a 40-hour week in the real world in a pandemic. And I was like, I want to be living in my fantasy world at home. This isn't fair. The last 2 years, not being able to travel and not being able to do the things that I love were really tough. I'm not gonna lie, the past 2 years have been one of the biggest disappointments in my life. Like, it's just been a tough time for me. I've had a lot of disappointments and a lot of tough just tough decisions I've had to make in the last 2 years. I do wish that I could have applied and done this program sometime in the past 2 years. I've had a lot of nerves doing it now because I'm older than I thought I would be to move abroad again, but I also know that I'm capable of it, and with the experience that I've gained, I'm even more prepared to take part in such a program that's going to be challenging, hard work, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to finally get to do something where I feel like I'm learning every day again, where I'm traveling, I'm going to be seeing new things, doing new things, meeting new people, and I feel like that's what's been missing from my life. And even bigger than all of that is that I feel like I'm finally going to be doing a job where I feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives. Perhaps one of the hardest things in the last 2 years is that I've done jobs that were very unrelated to what I actually want to do, what I'm actually passionate about. And I worked those jobs because I needed them financially. And I worked those jobs so that I could do things I am passionate about, like this YouTube channel, like my reading, like my writing, like my art. I know I don't always share the writing and art portion on this channel, but I do those things and I'm trying to do them more and more. And I'm hoping one day they will financially support me, but we'll see. But while doing those jobs, I felt like they were really draining. They were so draining to my soul is what I kept telling people. It was just like, I work so hard. I have so much education. I've done so much traveling. I feel like I've built myself to be the type of person that makes a difference in the world and that cares. And that's who I want to be. But I had to work these jobs where I just kind of had to numb myself and do a 9 to 5 and not think about the fact that these jobs were just so rote and monotonous and no opportunity for growth, no opportunity for learning. And I've just hated that the last 2 years. And I'm so excited because this program, not only do I get to learn how to do a new thing, which is teach, I get teaching experience, I get to have a co-teacher who will support me and help me. I also get to travel, I get to learn new things, I get to meet new people and try new things and do new things and see beautiful scenery. And I feel like I'll finally have more inspiration for my writing and my art, because that is something that also happened in this sort of stillness in my life where I wasn't getting to grow or learn new things. I wasn't inspired at all. And I'm just so excited. The most excited I had been in months was when back in December and January, I started learning Hangul, and just starting to learn something new. I was like, this is fun. Like, I never really enjoyed learning languages in the past, which is another big part of why I applied for the program. I want to make sure that kids have a better experience than I did, because I didn't have a very good experience learning foreign languages. I can't tell you how excited I am to finally be having fun doing something again, and to finally feel excited and inspired by something again. Getting this teaching experience through EPIK could open a lot of doors for me. I could, of course, after doing it for a year or more, I could come back to the States, get a specific type of teaching degree, go back to school for that, and then become a teacher in the States. Or I could possibly become a tutor or a specialized teacher. With the certification and the experience I'll have, I might be able to become a specialized tutor for teaching English as a foreign language. Or I might go back to school and focus on linguistics, because learning Hangul has actually also taught me that I have a lot of interest in linguistics as a topic at large. So I don't know, there's a lot you can do with that. But at the same time, I could also, because I have a master's degree, I could possibly teach at a higher level abroad as well. If I get teaching experience through a program like EPIK, I could then teach at a higher level, like at a university abroad. And that could be in South Korea or another country. So it's really, really exciting for me. It finally feels like I have a path and I have a vision and I have a place and a direction to grow into. So that is all why I applied to the EPIK program. It's who I am. It's why I applied. I kind of just started like, what do I have to lose? And then once I passed the application and once I passed the interview, and now that I've gotten the documents mailed, I want it really, really badly. And I really hope it works out. And if I post this video, then it probably means that I'm going. Yeah, I'll be back with more updates as I have them. But I hope that you're all excited to come on this journey with me. Please like this video if you enjoyed watching. Comment down below and let me know if you applied for EPIK, why you applied. I'd love to hear about your story as well. And if you have any questions, also let me know down in the comments. I am happy to try to help in any way that I can. I hope that you're all doing well and have a good rest of your week. I will be back with new videos soon. Bye.